Hey everyone, it's Josh, and wanted to make a video today talking about how it's just been too quiet in here. Ever since Brooke Farmer knocked my door a couple of Fridays ago to sort of bother and harass me, like she's been doing. And yes, I am going to make sure she gets out of the landlord business, like I've said in other videos. But the point is that it's just been too quiet in here ever since then. Those kids upstairs, they're not running around barely at all. And when they do, their parents stop them very quickly. This is almost like the time when the cops came, when they called the cops on me. But then the cop, once the cop found out what was going on, he went upstairs to tell them to knock off the noise. And it was quiet in here for like 3 weeks after that. And there seems to be another quiet spell after Brooke knocked my door, and now I made the announcement that I'm going after them legally. And suddenly it gets quiet. Like this, is this a coincidence? Like a reasonable person would say no. So it's really obvious that Brooke has been emailing back and forth with this family, and or at least talking to them or texting with them or something, because the noise was getting bad again. So this isn't a coincidence, and this is something I can use in court too. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to be like, listen, why did it suddenly get quiet when I started talking lawsuit? You know what I mean? Brooke had refused to ever talk to this family before, to tell them to calm down, stop making so much noise. But suddenly I've got a lawsuit as soon as I can find a lawyer, and it gets quiet in here. That is absolutely not a coincidence. So, which is stupid on their part anyway, because I'm not suing them because of the noise. I'm suing them for landlord harassment. I'm suing Brooke for singling me out and trying to drive me out of here for asserting my right to peace and quiet. I'm not suing Haverkamp for the noise itself, and I'm not suing that family. That family is going to have no part in my court proceedings. I'm not summoning them. I'm not asking them to show up in court. None of that. My suit is going to be against Haverkamp. Now, but still, I mean, a reasonable person could easily figure this out. That I woke up this morning and I got to thinking about this, and I was thinking, there hasn't been much noise since Brooke knocked my door. There was that one kind of bad night where I made a video a few nights ago. Those children are at it again. But even on that night, it stopped pretty quickly after that. So, yeah, definitely something going on there. Now, the other thing is Brooke Farmer is still working here, despite upper management knowing that she's been singling me out, harassing me, targeting me, and stuff like that. They're not even hiding the fact that she works there still. I see her walk into her office yesterday morning and everything like that. And some of you might wonder why they would allow a manager who's been credibly accused of landlord harassment, and who there's evidence of landlord harassment against them, why they would allow them to continue working here without any sort of investigation, or during an investigation, or whatever. Because most landlord companies would not do that. Most landlord companies would at least feign a suspension, at least feign that they were doing an investigation, and they would send the accused manager home while the investigation was ongoing. But Haverkamp isn't doing that. They're pretty much letting Brooke come here every day like nothing's been going on. Now, some of you might be surprised by that fact, and it is shocking, like, if you don't know what the real deal is. But this all has to do with the cornerstone connection that I was talking about in my other videos. Because the higher-ups at Haverkamp are elders at Cornerstone Church, and because Cornerstone Church is a borderline mega church with a whole lot of influence around here, business connections, legal connections, the whole thing, Haverkamp can get away with being this blatant and usually not having to suffer any consequences for it. Because they are very well connected and very well protected. And that's why I said in my other videos, this is going to be a very long and hard battle for me, but I'm just willing to fight it because this is a year of harassment and I finally just reached my breaking point. Well, that's what it is. They know that they have all these business connections and legal connections through Cornerstone Church and all their connections. So Haverkamp can get away with a lot of stuff that another real estate company or another business could never really get away with. So, and that's why I said in my other videos that I'm not just up against Haverkamp, I'm up against Cornerstone Church and their whole network. So that's the way it is. But yeah, Brooke is still working here, still coming here every day like nothing happened, like there's no credible accusation against her. Like I don't have a ton of evidence that she's been singling me out and messing with me. And I've shared some of this evidence with Todd Westenberg, who's the chief officer of Haverkamp. So he had more than enough to pretty much just fire her on the spot. But he did nothing, and Brooke is still here like there's nothing going on. So that's why Brooke is allowed to work here. Because of Haverkamp's, or not Haverkamp's, but Cornerstone's strong connections in this town, and the fact that the majority of the employees at Haverkamp, especially the higher ups, are elders or high-ranking people at Cornerstone Church. So it's a whole thing. But like I said, they're underestimating my determination. I'm in this for the long battle. I don't care if I lose in the short term, as long as I, beat them in the long term. I deserve to be compensated for being harassed this whole year by their landlord, especially since they now know it and they still kind of let her work here. And Brooke does not need to be in the landlord business anymore. So I'm going to make sure both those things happen. And, the fact that I'm not financially well off isn't going to stop me. I'm going to get legal retribution for this. But yeah, it's been too quiet, and Brooke is still working here. And in one sense, it's mind-blowing. It's just mind-blowing to me how blatant they are about stuff. Just the fact that they will break the law right to your face and not even care, not even try to cover their tracks. But that's what happens when you're well connected in a small town and you're part of a mega church in a small town, So that's what I'm up against. The fight's going to be long, but I'm in this, for the long battle. So that's that.